All right, please welcome to the stage the cast and creative team behind Reggie Dinkins. All right, when I say your name, if you could just wave, we have here Robert Carlock, Sam Means, Tracy Morgan, Phil Augusta Jackson, Grace Edwards, Meredith Scardino, Mamoudou N'Diaye, Auguste White, Bradley Lewis, and Neda Jebelli. All right, before we begin, I can give out the physical award. Here we go. Has our names.
Fantastic. Thank you for. I just love that Vulture actually acknowledges the group effort that this takes.
Yeah, and I think Robert and I would love to accept this on behalf of all of these writers for making this show great, but also for all of the rooms that all of these writers, including us, have ever been in. Because those rooms made us who we are now. And the
broken and sad.
Yes, exactly. But the importance of writers' rooms is not just for making this show great, and we believe very strongly that the room is an important part of that, but for all of these writers and all of us going forward and the future of television. Because this room hopefully will help train these writers to create and run the next great show.
Before we get too far, I do feel I need to acknowledge Tracy that the Knicks won last night. You were at the game in San Antonio?
Yeah, we just came back this morning. I haven't even been home yet. We just got off the plane from San Antonio, and it was great. And I want to take that energy and put it into my writer's room, because they made it possible. And anything's possible. And these writers, for me as a performer, they make it so much easier for us. And I'm speaking for the cast. They make us, it's like joke after joke, and it's great writing. And when it's great, superb writing, it makes it easier for the cast. So thank you very much. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, I think we can cue the first clip to introduce the show.
You were immediately banned for life from football.
Yeah, but I only bet on myself. Not only bet to win, that was more motivation to play good. So that like a waitress works for tips.
Without you, your teammates lost the Super Bowl to Seattle 61-2. You were dropped by Progresso Soup. Your episode of Ghost Whisperer never even aired.
Yeah, that really messed up Melinda's season arc. Okay? That's not what this documentary is about, dude.
Like I told you on the phone, we don't really know what this documentary is about yet. It will emerge.
And I told you, this was a puff piece, okay, that I paid for. Hey, yeah. None of this is going in the documentary. Now I want you to come film me dunking on a regulation 10-foot hoop. Shoot me so you can't see the ground. Okay, calm down, my turn.
Those noises when you stood up were not scripted. That was.
Sam, I wonder if you could tell me the story of how this show came to be, coming up with the idea for it. How did we arrive here?
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, Tracy came to us a couple years ago now. Seems like forever, and talked about getting the band back together, and of course we were immediately on board because we love working with this guy and we love working with Tina. And Robert and I had just been watching a lot of sports documentaries at the time. It was like post-strike. We'd had some time on our hands.
Yeah, and those shows are movies, whatever you want to call them, are always getting made. But I felt like there was after The Last Dance, there was just this rush of
like Beckham.
Yeah, and then Pete Rose had one, and Lance Armstrong. We thought, oh well, what if that narrative of a guy who made a big mistake and is trying to use and control this narrative to fix everything just seemed really interesting to us.
Yeah, and I'm not sure everyone knows this, but Tracy was an athlete back in high school.
You can tell.
Big ups to Pete
stairs
Rose,
over there.
Big ups to Pete Rose. I mean.
So we just love the idea of, Tracy in that armchair in that big empty mansion, like Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, and that was where it all came from.
I'm curious, as you were filling out the cast of characters, because we have a pretty hefty ensemble here, how did you think about that balance? What did you know you needed? How did we develop the full group?
Do you remember what you said, Trey, when we told you we were writing Arthur Tobin, the director character for Daniel Radcliffe? You said, we're opposites.
Opposite. Yeah, how do you get a street guy from Brooklyn and a dude from the UK together? This is Tina and Robin Sams on their walk of life, meeting people and saying, well, we could put him with him and him. And I thought it was incredible. I mean, look, that's my guy. Arthur Tobin is my guy. I love it.
Yeah, and then, as filling out the cast around that incredible odd couple, and we'd never worked with Erica Alexander before, but we were in awe of her, and kind of like with Tracy coming to us and Dan saying yes, it was just, you said yes? Really? Okay, amazing. And the emotional grounding, but also the slightly unhinged layer just under the surface she brings. And then Bobby is just a cheat code for comedy writers. He comes in and blows a scene, and you're good.
I was curious, you have both worked on...
Blow is a good thing. That means end the scene with a big joke. Yeah.
You've both worked on both streaming and network TV shows. I'm curious how the developmental process differs for those things. Are you thinking about that process differently? How do you approach that?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that was different from at least maybe the last kind of mini generation of streaming, which maybe the first generation that way, I was like, this is a proper pilot process. Often you're getting these orders from streamers trying to box each other out where they're committing to a season or multiple episodes. And doing a pilot was actually really refreshing, getting to cast something and see it and shoot it and learn from that instead of just immediately being on the treadmill of making 8, 10, 13 episodes. And we went back and reshot some things because we learned so much. And once we brought these guys in as well and started having those conversations of, all right, what do we think is or isn't working? And we probably reshot 5 or 6 pages of stuff. But once you have your cast and everything, you're constantly thinking. So that's one of the differences, at least.
Yeah, a big part of that was just honing those relationships once we were able to see them on their feet, which was really helpful.
And as soon as we, the cast, as soon as we got on set, we all fell right into place. We all knew, because we had, the day before we shot the pilot, we had dinner at my home. Because food brings us all together, and we wanted to really hit the ground running. So we really got into each other. I've noticed that. The cast, we really got into each other, talking and getting to know each other. And by the time we got to the set, we were all comfortable with each other. We knew exactly where to be. Because you don't usually see a wife and a fiance friend, an ex-wife and a fiance friends. That was weird.
Is there something about going to your house with sharks? All the do they bring people? Is that some kind of thing that brings people together in a way? There's a lot
fear.
of
I have a shark
aquatic
tank in my house,
predators.
and it was incredible. We had a good time, and we all hit the ground running. I mean, the cast, the writers, we all ate together. So we not a team, we a family. You can believe that. We are a family. That's how we move.
Dad, I need to borrow some money.
Wait a minute.
And then how do you think about putting together a writer's room? When you're looking at what you need for this show to be successful, who do you bring in? How do you balance it? What's that process like?
Yeah, I feel like Tina kind of described it perfectly in her book, which is it's in Bossy Pants. It's kind of this alchemy of energy and perspective, and you need the nerds. I feel like Robert and I might cover that. But you need so many different points of view and so many different perspectives and life backgrounds, and we always appreciate people who are willing to share their own life stories and their own backgrounds with us. And
yet you want all of that to meet in the middle of a shared, every one of these guys, it was immediately oh, you're funny, you hit the ball back, and we have a similar frame of reference there in the middle, even if we're coming at things from a very different place, which is exactly what you want.
Phil, you've worked on other people's shows. You've worked on your own show, Grand Crew. I'm curious about, from your perspective, what is the environment that a writer's room needs to be maximally productive? How do you get the tone right?
Don't disappoint us with this answer.
How do you get the tone right in a writer's room?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's when I'm in the leadership position, I think managing expectations, off the top really, really helps. This is the goal of what we're trying to accomplish on any given day. Also, I think just letting people know that anything you pitch or share is valuable. Like, I think I often talk about pitching in a writer's room, and it's like, if you, like in baseball, if someone bats 300, like they're really good, right? I don't know, that's good, right? That's good, right? That's good, right? So the point is to swing, you know. It's not to find the perfect pitch, you know. And so I think just getting it out there, just creating a dynamic and an atmosphere where people feel comfortable, not even failing, just speaking, saying what's on your mind, I think is the most vital part of a writer's room. And in the writer's rooms that I've been a part of just contributing to, it's kind of just approaching it with that perspective. Like, I'm gonna say something, this shit's not always gonna work. You know what I mean? But sometimes the thing that doesn't work leads to another thing that doesn't work, that leads to something that ends up working really, really well. And I think having that understanding and also creating that dynamic and environment is what I think creates the tone.
How do you know when something doesn't work initially? Like, how do you know that it's still something worth pursuing?
You don't sometimes.
It's usually someone else picking it up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Saying
exactly.
off of that,
That's
or what
right.
I thought you were going to say
Yeah,
is, or the
yeah.
opposite of that, even. Like,
Yeah, as long as it's like on topic in some fashion, it is valuable. But even sometimes, someone will be like, you'll be talking about something, and then we'll be like, oh, let's talk about like snacks and stuff. And then you just need to talk about snacks sometimes too, because snacks are important in a writer's room. You know what I mean? I'm still on topic right now, right? I'm doing it, right?
Yeah, doing it,
See, we're doing it right now.
Does anyone have an example of something that started as a, like, quote unquote bad idea that ended up making it into the show?
Basmati. That's a great idea. I was it.
just the name, Jerry Basmati.
Jerry Basmati.
Jerry Basmati.
Reggie's nemesis, played by Craig Robinson, is named Jerry Basmati for no reason. And that was come up with when I was out of the room, and I came in, and it was just Jerry Basmati, which I guess is
Does
a play
anyone
on
want to
Jerry
take credit
Rice.
for Jerry Basmati?
Yeah.
It's a great name, if you don't think about it at all.
Yeah, and we had a long discussion in the room because Robert Northstam were in there when we came up with the name. Like, okay, so we can't act like we're too excited about the name Jerry Basmati. So, like, I'm gonna pitch it and be like, for right now, it's Jerry Basmati.
Yeah, I also
from Rice University. That ended up changing. He was supposed to be Jerry Basmati from Rice University, but then I think Robert and Sam smartly were like, let's not go too fucking crazy.
But I feel like you underplayed it so much, Phil, that it was like, my mind was like, oh yeah, the name Basmati, sure, okay. For a couple seconds. Yeah.
Totally normal.
But there were some ones that like didn't make it, like Francois Pourquoi.
Bring it back.
That was another Phil special.
I think there's like a thing that I do a lot too, which is I call like mouth brain, where you just like your mouth says stuff and you do not ever check with your brain first. And some of that stuff is so weird that it gets in.
Absolutely.
I think we all have a little bit of mouth brain. Yeah.
I was curious, is there a benefit to working on a network sitcom where there are like more rules, where you have like this strict amount of time for episodes and you can't swear? Is there a positive to that as well?
I mean, we certainly think so.
Yeah.
Like having those sorts of obstacles and obstructions are just creating new puzzles you have to solve, and it, ideally something you never would have thought of in the first place.
And
is
certainly
a solution.
swearing, as an example, can be an obvious crutch to not really hone a joke or conflict or whatever. But it's always that last minute of editing is always painful to get it to time. But I do think, 22 minutes is usually better than 30.
For comedy.
Okay, can we play clip 2?
Yo. Check this out. This cat is gonna get me in the Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, buddy. You deserve it. I need you to say more words.
This Doug Donovan's cat.
Your old coach?
You guys had a rough couple of years. Last year, Jets coach Duck Donovan was on top of the world.
With Dinkins in the backfield.
Nothing can stop us. Literally nothing. Name one thing. Just 1 year later, Donovan is out after going 4-12 without Dinkins. Talk about a lame duck, Donovan. And joining me in Club Divorcee, recently fired Seton Hall coach and even more recently fired Passaic Middle School coach Duck Donovan. Talk about a lame duck. No, I just came up with that.
Officer, they say I can't bring neighbor to work just because I handle food? But he's an emotional support cat. I need him. He's all I have.
Sir, that's not a reason to call the police.
I know my rights. He blamed me for all of that.
And that's good?
Coach loves that cat more than life. I seen him pushing it around in a damn stroller. So, I find the cat. Coach is so happy, he forgives me. And everyone else is like, yo, that guy forgave you? We forgive you.
And then bam, Hall of Fame. Bam, broadcasting job. Bam, they make a movie of your life. Bam, Pedro Pascal plays me. And he wants me on set. And we just click. Okay, I guess.
It's the perfect plan.
Tracy, I have to say, I just love the way you say the word plan in that. Like, there's like a little crack that comes through that's just...
That's my voice.
It's really good.
And it's helpful that the writers, they know us. Like after the fight, they know our voices, so they really, really know how to write for us. Each one of us individually. Like, I don't know who wrote that.
I think that's a Grace episode, right?
No, the part when the bus got stolen, and she said Jalen's friend Todd. Oh, yeah. She said, I don't like that Todd guy. Said calling me Monica like he grown.
Is that
That was me.
I just thought that was hilarious.
Thank you.
Coming from Monica, that was hilarious. Like he grown.
Grace, I wonder if you could, because that was what we just saw was from your episode, I wonder if you could walk us through, like, how do you get assigned that episode? How do you approach it? Like, just like, give a quick summary of front to back how that episode came to be.
Yes. So, you know, we start, just like every writer's room, we sort of start in a place of sort of blue sky, which is, you know, we're kind of tossing around ideas about different things. That's sort of the first part of the process. And sort of when we start nailing down some of the themes, or like sometimes like the arcs the characters are going through, like at that point we board it, and then Robert and Sam sit together and they figure out who would be best for the episode. For this particular one, there was the cat stuff, but also there was the dating stuff, which is very much based on Auntie's still dating. So, so very much based on my horrific experiences.
I was gonna say nothing weird ever happened though to you.
So definitely the Monica story was, you know, based on some of my experiences in the dating world. But yeah, it was a fun episode to do. You know, there was some stuff with the cat on set. Like, we were told the cat could sit there. The cat could not sit there because it's a cat. And, you know, there was, you know, we were in the woods with Daniel Radcliffe and Tracy, like at night. Like, there was a lot of fun stuff in that episode. But yeah, that was kind of the process. We sort of talked about, you know, overall what we wanted to take both Reggie's character through and Monica through, sort of getting Reggie on the road to sort of figuring out how he's gonna be active in his quest for the Hall of Fame. So this cat was part of that. And then, and then also, you know, we wanted to explore romance, you know, in middle age with Monica, so, you know.
Monica dated a guy with a Cybertruck.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And his thumb got cut off, I think, during it.
And
yeah.
Just to the value of a room like this, since that's what we're here to talk about, I mean, Grace wrote a great outline and then a great writer's draft, but every single episode gets rewritten in the room multiple times, so everyone's voices and everyone's jokes. And then we have are included, and then we have a table read, and we read it again after the table read, again together as a room, and everyone has their fingerprints on every single episode.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a very collaborative process. So like, yeah, it's a very cool thing to see your episode, but then also your jokes in other episodes. It's a great thing.
You and Phil, were you both on the same season of Insecure?
Yes, so we started at the same time, and yeah, we did season 4 and 5 together.
I was curious how that kind of like compounding relationship helps a writer's room. Like when you've worked on, even though it's like a very different show tonally, it's on HBO, like there's a lot of differences there, but does that help you when you get into this writer's room?
Definitely, and I've been blessed to work with multiple people here. Meredith was with me in the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I've worked with Phil, like this is our, I guess, 4th season of television together. But yeah, definitely I knew, especially we're both upper levels, so I was like, I knew what he was capable of, and it's just a fun, like quicker getting into the weeds of everything. And yeah, we had a sort of a shared language. There was a very particular way that we did things on Insecure that I think, sort of inspired both of our leadership styles. So yeah, definitely, for sure.
Can you describe what that is?
Well, okay. Prentice, who is the showrunner of Insecure, I remember, this is back in the day, like when, HBO, we had money and stuff. So we started out at the Palm Springs, the Ritz-Carlton in Palm Springs. So we were like sitting at the bar, I was sitting by myself, and then Prentice comes up to me and he's like, Grace, I just want you to know, like, as a showrunner, I'm a painter. So, Issa's yellow. I already got yellow. I don't need yellow from you. You're blue. So my job is to take all the colors and mix them together and make a painting. So I always remember that, especially, when I'm, have the privilege to run a room or something like that. It's just sort of like thinking about everybody's strengths and encouraging people to sort of pitch from where they are. Like the thing that's special about this room is that everybody has such different experiences. So just encouraging people to pitch from their own life experience because, that was an early lesson taught to me. That was.
I think that's awesome that you said that. To write from where you're at.
Yes.
Right from where you're at.
Exactly.
To thyself be true.
That kind of feels like it's also true for the cast, right? Like how you guys work together. Is that true?
Do you. I'm doing me, Arthur's doing him, and that makes it easier for the writers too. Because you expose yourself, you're out there, so they know what to write. You have to. And I learned that from the SNL, working with Rob from Saturday Night Live and Sam from Saturday Night Live. They got to be able to make fun of your flaws.
Meredith, you've worked on Girls Five Eva, obviously, which you co-created.
Created.
Created, period. Okay, sorry. She created it. Misogyny.
I might
On me.
mention.
On that show, on this show, on many of your shows, I think the joke rate is really high. Like just the jokes per minute that are flying at you are just like a near constant thing. I'm curious how you perceive, like how do you get the joke rate really high while still moving the story forward in a show?
It's a good question. I mean, I think these guys, like working with Robert and Sam and Tina on Kimmy Schmidt, I feel like they were the ones who really taught me how to not just hit joke, but also, move story along. And it's definitely a balance. It's kind of like accessorizing. You're like, oh, is there too much? You take a couple off. And in edit, you find sometimes you're, I know sometimes I would be in edit on Girls Five Eva or something, and Tina would be in there with me, and she'd be like, okay, what's this story about? Because it's just like bam, 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 bam. So it's a balance of making sure you know what the characters want and that your jokes are all filtering through there. And it's also something I feel like a lot of us honed in working late night TV. I worked for Stephen Colbert at the Colbert Report for many years, and that was always writing for a character who had a point of view that you were trying to communicate while also hanging bits or a premise or a satiric premise on putting that all it all being part of it. So, but it's always a balance, and you don't want to have, you always want to be able to lock in to characters' motivations and what they want without feeling like it's just a random bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, and what Meredith's describing is a high degree of difficulty in the writing, but it also requires a cast like this one to be able to hit the joke and also tell the story and then pivot to another joke while still telling the story and selling the emotion in the space of 2 seconds.
It also, one other thing I feel like I learned from Robert and Tina was that you make sure your characters are so specific so that like the jokes are kind of just so imbued with their character, and that's a way that it comes through. So there's this sort of test you can give yourself if you're writing something, that if you took all of the character names off of your script, can you still tell who's speaking? And if you can't, your characters aren't specific enough. And so I think like all this cast of opposites and super talented people, it just makes it easy to tell stories with comedy throughout the whole thing.
What is the secret to a good sitcom setup, like for an episode basis? How do you know this one is going to work for an A plot, this is a B plot, this is a C plot? How do you figure that out? Anyone can take it, but Meredith, you have the mic.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's always I always feel like it's almost like you find something juicy. You can find, there's little zinger jokes here and there that can kind of lay in the background. But then sometimes you find a story that just feels juicy, and you're like, oh, this is gonna challenge our characters to change. This is gonna push people out of their comfort zones, and it just starts to I always think about a pinball game or something where it's just bing, bing, all these lights kind of pop on, and then you can also feel it palpably in the room when everyone gets really excited. It just there's just an electricity to it where you can tell you have a good story that you want to pursue.
Yeah, I mean, the other day we were working on an episode for the upcoming season, and kind of inadvertently, both stories ended up being about money, and it just had that feeling of, oh, we haven't had these people really talk about this divisive and difficult subject, and I can't wait for them to start having those conversations. It doesn't make it necessarily easy, but it makes it, you go, oh, that scene where he's saying, I don't want to pay for whatever, it's a fight, and it's a fun fight. And yeah, you're just trying to build that feeling. And the other thing to add is we'll get to the table and it won't work. And then you don't know. You don't know all the time. You can have the pieces lined up, but at the end of the day, it also is this alchemy.
I was gonna say too, with sitcoms, I feel like having a really simple emotional story, between the characters, it's such an obvious thing, but getting them a little closer to each other, just an inch closer to each other each episode in a sitcom, when it's done well, the audience, I feel doesn't realize that's what's happening, that with this story that is super silly, the characters actually just got a little bit closer. It's a subconscious thing that I think happens on top of whatever silliness is going on, and I think when you have the silly and the fun, and you actually have a little splash of that heart, I think for a sitcom it also helps make for some of the best stories that we have too.
That's like Arthur Tobin and the Family, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Because at one point we say, he says, I'm part of the family, and mission accomplished.
Yeah, just a quick thing to add too, also the arc of the season too. There are certain things that are just sort of great fun for the episode, but also, we talk about where do we want to end the characters, and so a good story, especially when you have a shorter order 10 episodes too, is just sort of taking us towards where we want to end at the end of the season as well.
I'm curious how you guys think about sentimentality. I feel like the famous sitcom thing from Seinfeld was no hugging, no learning. And there's not a ton of hugging here, but there is some learning. That's ideal. How do you think about that mix of things?
Yeah, we think we think heart is the heart of the show. That's the pillow we have in the writer's room. No, with a comedy, you don't want people to learn too much. The characters have to be the characters, but at the same time, to tell a story that people can connect with and connect with these characters, they have to be feeling real feelings. And with this cast, I'm just going to keep praising the cast because we're here to talk about writers. It's not easy, but you can tell what a family they became, the actors, and that makes it easy, really, to tell these character stories of them growing to love each other, but also allows you to have real conflict on top of that, knowing that they love each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How do you guys think about it the same way, or is there like does anyone have an aversion to sentimentality when writing?
Well, it's funny because we were just the other week we were in the writers' room, and there was like some of us were working on a story, and it ended with like one character literally going to another character to apologize, and somebody in the room was kind of like, in my family, it's not really, like, you kind of like figure out this like non-apology apology, which is maybe a gesture of like, I brought you food, or I'm just literally here with you and not storming out. So there's always ways to kind of undercut it in take the hallmark off of it with things that feel a little bit more true to reality.
Was that your mom, August, that you were talking about with that?
It was my grandmother actually has come around to apologizing, but beforehand we talked about how she'd just say, I'm going to the store, you coming, instead of actually saying she's sorry about something. And some other writers were also piling on and saying, yeah, like I can't remember one time that I just got a straight up, hey, I'm sorry. And so like Meredith's saying, we kind of complicated, well, we wanted to be a happy and hopeful resolution with just like a little bit of acidity in there too.
And one thing, Tracy and I are both big fans of The Honeymooners. And as The Honeymooners was incredibly funny, but at the end of every Honeymooners episode, there's some little sweet thing in the show.
Baby, you're the greatest.
Every time.
Baby, you're the greatest.
And I think that's having those small, sweet moments allows the characters to be really, really open in other parts of the show. And that's where you find very unexpected funny things. And we have an actor who leads the show who is the king of unexpected funny.
There we go.
I also think, like, in real life, when you're resolving conflict, like, there's not, like, string music playing and, like, you know what I mean? In real life, if you're, like, arguing with a friend, you kind of, like, get through it, and you're like, are you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. All right, then let's get some food then, you know? Like, and you'll start doing bits, and you'll joke with each other. Like, that is real life, and so I think you can prevent over sentimentality by actually just honoring what actually happens in real life, and I think we do a good job of that on this show, too.
And to that point, I think obviously the thing that makes a sitcom is that it's like the funny ways that a person is causing problems for themselves, but I think there's also a lot of humor in how a person tries to fix it, and that's where I feel like a lot of the heart comes in our show. It's not just from sappy or saccharine apologies or thank yous, it's also just the earnest effort to make things right, even if you do it in a bit of a wacky way. And I think that's where the sweetness can come, but not kind of overwhelm or, disappoint the audience in thinking, oh, okay, that's not really realistic or not as much fun.
August and I have had several arguments.
Oh, we're beefing right now, Phil. It's still on.
You never once apologized to me.
And I won't, so.
So there we have it.
Mamoudou.
There's a bag episode like that.
Yes.
But I wouldn't apologize about it, give a bag.
Here you go, baby.
That was that episode.
I'm curious, when you're writing on a show with like a wide variety of characters, when you're approaching your own episode, how do you put yourself into the mindset of every single person in like a full group scene, like the one that we saw there? How do you approach going into like this these different mindsets?
In my brain, I normally am just like, all right, let's turn off Rusty brain and put on Monica brain. Mm-hmm. What's Monica gonna say in this sort of situation? And sometimes it does, for me personally, require like switching off into different people every single time, which. And the costume budget's so great on the show, so I have all the costumes at home. And I think that like in ensemble, again, like we were saying, not everyone's gonna apologize the same way, not everyone's gonna talk in the same pattern, but like when you're putting them in different situations, I think it goes to it's a testament to like how clear the characters are. We know how each of these people are going to act in a different way. If there's someone running away from bees, it's gonna be Rusty running at bees, like he's like, I'm gonna protect the family, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be Arthur gonna be in a certain situation being like, all right, I did a documentary about this and this, so this is how we're supposed to do, and it's wrong because they're British bees and not American bees, you know what I mean? So I think that whenever I approach that in my brain, and we had so many different conversations and so many different perspectives about things that, you know, are commonalities that we all deal with. We approach it very differently. You take that and then you just apply it to like, all right, well, Monica reminds me of this person, or something that August said a while ago is something that's going to really inform the way we're going to approach this. And that's the fun part about this room, because everyone, not just the clothes of the actors and the characters, but everyone in this room as well, you just say, oh, that's a Grace joke, because Grace is going to say it this way, and that's going to be fun to say for Monica or to say for Brina. And same thing for like the episode 7 with them running away from like Megan Thee Stallion and stuff like that. You kind of just know how Tracy's going to say a line a little bit. We're just in his head in that specific way. But then when you give it to Reggie and think about like the situations that he's in that specific scene, like, oh, Brina's in the house somewhere, we got to be a little quiet right now. That's really fun to write.
Yeah, and that's really hard on a first season show, and it's a real testament to this writer's room that I think we hit the ground running with all these characters and all these writers.
I'm really happy my writers know me and my voice. I'm really happy about that.
How do you make sure that is like the case? You've done multiple of these shows now. How do you talk with writers? How do you work with writers to make it as
Honesty.
productive as possible?
You gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Just be yourself around them, so they know who you are. Just be yourself. I did tell you, I'm me. I mean, I can't be nothing else. I ain't graduated from Harvard. I didn't do none of that. I dropped out in 11th grade. Thank the Lord I'm here.
You mentioned
I'm around
something.
all these beautiful people, and they know my voice. I'm glad.
You mentioned earlier, Trey, just talking about as an actor being willing to expose your foibles and to let these people who don't have to put their faces on camera use them, or to take their own foibles. I have none, but these people, and to say, well, that could work for Reggie. He might respond differently, but he could put himself in that situation. Your willingness to just be wide open. I mean, around 30 Rock, we were like eventually did stuff about you having diabetes. I mean, and you wanted a wheel for a foot, and you're like, yeah, if it's funny, let's do it. So that openness, and I think that communicates itself to the rest of the cast, and it communicates to the staff that, sometimes it's wrong. It can still not work, and we can still pull back or do something else. But that's like a quiet leadership thing that is really important creatively.
I'm not here to hide nothing from nobody. I'm not here for that.
I was curious if any of the writers found themselves connecting to a character that they didn't expect to when they were writing an episode where they had to do everyone.
I feel spiritually like Brina sometimes. I just like that she claps back at everything. I love that she's just like young, has this energy, and has a lot of unexpected qualities to her that you don't really think. Brina, Precious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Bree. Yeah, and there are certain lines that
you didn't
Precious,
see that coming. I call her Bree.
Bree, no.
Everybody know I call her Bree. That's Bree.
There were lines that Precious would say, and the way she said it, I was like, "Damn, you're cool as hell." I want to be Brina a little bit.
I wish I identified with Brina.
I mean, yeah, sadly finding the kind of like Bobby's character, Rusty, who literally lives in the basement of his best friend's house. And their days, you're writing Rusty and like, oh, why is Rusty flowing so well? Don't feel good about myself, but I could use some basement time right about now.
I'm Tobin morning to night.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say Tobin as well, because, film school, always trying to find, getting closer to, the perfect art form, and trying to both be earnest but not annoying. That's something I struggle with. And then also, Brina too, because, I like fashion and things like that, so for sure.
I was gonna say the Basmatis. It was so fun writing for just bad, mean people. Just writing, being in the room and coming up with these really mean-spirited insults and turns, and the kind of backstabbiness that they just also, those performers played so brilliantly and just elevated with every choice. That was a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, Phil's told us about you.
I was gonna say Monica. But more from a fandom. I grew up watching Living Single, and it's like writing jokes for Erica Alexander is so cool. It's just really cool. So that's more just from the perspective of having this opportunity, being thankful to be able to write for the whole cast. But that show has a very special place in my heart. So writing jokes for her is
It's
Always,
us. It's
always.
us.
I call her the
I
Black
also
Cal
love-
Burnett.
I just feel like she also just can, she's one of those actors that can ground any scenario, no matter how hyperbolic it gets, and it just feels real and from a real place, and it's really cool to write for her. I mean, it's a dream cast to write for, but I also really enjoy writing for Monica. Just like I'm always like sort of protective of like middle-aged lady stories, so like I really like pitching, things from like bunions and whatever all the things, but getting to the heart of what they mean. But anyway, it's fun to write for her.
It's like the little things with Monica. It's like when she walks in the house and she go, "Ooh, how long has this been going on?" That's little things like that you find funny. I just find funny.
I'm curious, I think something we've heard about today, and also something that often happens on long-running shows specifically, is where there's this kind of conversation that happens between the actors and the writers, where you can kind of pick up on what someone is naturally good at, and then that's added into the script, and then you are working together on that. How do you approach doing that in a way that feels like still grounded in the character that you wrote, and also allows for that kind of natural growth for them?
When I used to do that on 30 Rock, I would go on Video Village with my stories. Then they would end up in the script.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time for improv on this show, but the stuff he says between scenes goes in the next episode.
Is there a secret to doing that productively? Like, is there a way to do it where you're not just like cribbing from someone's life, kind of like cravenly, but like also kind of being like, no, this is you, and like you will perform this well?
Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation. I think Tracy having us all at his house before filming started that conversation in a great way for everyone. But it's a back and forth, and that's I think one of the joys of making TV.
Also, you've taken into account the talents of the cast. Obviously, we have an incredible cast. So, for example, Precious Way, she was doing music before this. So obviously, it's wonderful to have that to build into Brina's character as well.
Yeah, when she sang when she sang the theme song, we didn't know she was gonna sing the theme song. That was just a joke at the top of the show, and then okay, she did it. Let's use that. Yeah.
I think there's also something really wonderful about shooting while we're writing. That's something that maybe is happening less now, and there's something really great about going to the table read, seeing what lines are popping, and then adjusting the stories around those lines. And it's been a real blessing to be able to write and shoot and be able to adjust the stories that are in the future to what we're seeing happen in real time and what's popping off the screen in real time. It's amazing.
Can we show the third clip?
Oops, I guess I'm a bad boy. The only problem with my plan is how far away the ground is, but I got a solution. Damn it. I'm so clumsy today.
I see what's going on here. Getting older can be scary. It must be hard for Reggie to admit he needs help from his nurse, Brina.
I believe that is Neda and Bradley's episode. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I was curious, when you guys got paired up to write together on something, what does that kind of collaborative process work where you're working on one episode together?
Well, I feel like I lucked out because I got to write with Brad, which is amazing. Well, we didn't pay for Zoom. I feel like that's the biggest thing about our collaboration.
Okay.
It was all 45 minutes at a time?
Yeah. It was the craziest process in the world.
Okay.
I'm like, we can pay for Zoom, and Neda was like, not today, Bradley. Not ever, Bradley. And that kind of made it better. I was like, okay, let's get real busy here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we would kind of write on our own, and then when we were blending together, it was really helpful to be working, together and talk through it and read through it and sort of pitch back and forth. But yeah, just I was morally against paying for Zoom. I thought that was not something
You don't want to
should
give
do.
the Zoom Corporation more money?
Yeah,
or?
I just think it should be free. Why are we paying for this thing? But it ended up being very helpful because after 40 minutes, you go, you make a little snack, and the thoughts are going in your head, and you're able to walk and think. And when we would come back with better ideas.
Yes.
So I feel like it actually helped our writing process a lot.
But that was an especially tricky episode, right? Because it was basically everything at the house, and the stories were all interconnected. It was kind of a tricky one. When we sent you off, it was kind of, well, I guess they'll figure this out. Because often you have two parallel stories with some interaction, but this was really, everything was kind of intermingled.
Yeah, and just to be
Neda's
clear,
super fun to write with. Because she's so knowledgeable and just open to any crazy suggestion I would have. And she was like, yeah, let's try that.
It was really fun to have both of the stories happening at the same time and trying to figure out how this sort of ex-peninsula story could mirror the other stories. I think Brad and I had a fun time trying to figure that out, and like every episode.
It was really more like 3 stories, which we usually don't do.
But again, like the collaboration with the room, like ex-peninsula was born from a mini room, and I think Phil, and I think Auguste, some other people were in there. It was a good excuse for all of us to watch a lot of Love Island. Sam and Robert pretend they're not fans, but I know that we converted them by the end of this episode.
I tried, man. I could not understand a word that was being said.
They just kept rejecting you too, Sam. So you have like a personal animus against the show because they never put you on.
Honestly, that is how I got addicted to Love Island. I said I would take one for the team and watch it, and now it's Nicolandria 4L, you know?
But just to be clear to address your original question, we tend to, the writers collaborate when they go off to write it together, but generally one will take the lead on one story and one will take the lead on the other story if we have an A and B story, and then they'll work together to combine it.
I was curious about, in that episode, there is like very direct conversation about tropes and like specifically the crazy ex-girlfriend trope. Like you're like, this is a crazy ex-girlfriend. That's cliche. We're doing it. Like the characters are saying that to us in real time. I was curious, like when you have those kind of archetypes that we've seen play out before, how do you keep them feeling fresh? Like why do you want to attack those in that way? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I think that was a tricky needle to thread because we want her to sort of be embodying these things but don't want to fall into the trope ourselves. So that was a tightrope that definitely had helped to write the draft, bring it back to the room, see how it was reading, listen to it at the table. Okay, is he being too mean? Is she being too crazy? And that kind of dialing in and out happened even when we were on set, trying to see the performances, get options, work with the director closely.
And the other more experienced writers in the room, when we were talking about it, really gave us the confidence, I feel like, especially Meredith in that instance, when we were talking about the tropes. And she was like, because Meredith is a super fun person. If you ever get a chance to write a comedy show, writing one with Meredith is incredibly fun. Because she's so
I
like...
paid him to say all this.
No, it's the best, because if you say something funny, she'll go, yes! Just like that, or she'll hit you. And that's when it's like really funny. She's like, oh my God, that's so funny. And so we were talking about the whole trope thing, and she was like, she's paused for a minute, and she goes, yes. And I was like, okay, we're on to something here. Because she has so much experience. I was like, this is something we need to explore.
So something in this room off of that I am gonna steal moving forward is Robert says a lot that like, okay, how do we zag? How do we zag? Like you start with this familiar thing, and how do we start from a place that is gonna seem very, very kind of obvious, but then how do we go left and make it and go earn that crazy space? You know what I mean? And I think episode 8 is a great example of that. And these guys are always pushing the room to kind of take something that starts from a grounded place and then figuring out what that zag is. And I think that's how we kind of achieve what you're asking about. Just like, okay, how do you take that spin of the crazy ex-girlfriend, but also comment on it, but also make it a story that still has an emotional ending to it that is satisfying but not too schmaltzy. It's like that push is kind of in every story that we break in this show.
And just from that clip, one thing that the writers do that is one of the insane things we do is you saw the book that Narcissa was reading, Anna Camp's character, The Trad Bitch Diet. We wrote everything Not the whole book, but the entire back cover, the entire front cover, the quotes, the summary. Every time there's a prop or a newspaper, we make ourselves crazy by having to write 100 jokes in that no one will ever see. So.
I mean, now that people do like pause, sometimes they'll catch an article we took too long writing. That was fun for us, but.
And it's fun to watch on social media. People figure that out, like going on like subreddits and on threads, which you're not supposed to be there, but being on threads and seeing people be like, "Oh my God, I didn't get this joke until like episode 7." I was like, I've never been on a show that's had that sort of like deep core like joke you really have to dig in to get. So that was really cool to see from the other side of it.
It works with second screen viewing as long as your second screen is also the show.
I mean, we saw Narcissa for a second there. I'm curious about how you approach adding a character like that in a lot, because you want to have these people come in, drive the plot along, be funny. How do you create the secondary characters? What's the secret to that?
Yeah, carefully, because I think there's a real, on the page or in your mind, it can seem so much more appealing because, it's new and it's a new point of view, but our core cast is our core cast. And it always they have to be driving story, and it has to be for them and about them. So it's very easy to suddenly, often, right, realize, oh wait, this story has we're introducing 3 people. So you try to do it carefully, and you try to think of actors it can pull it off, like Anna. And yeah, we have 22 minutes, and we have these amazing people, and yet you want the world to be bigger than just those people, because that's where conflict and everything comes from.
And it feels like the ones that stick and break through are the ones that help us learn more about our core guys. So Jerry Basmati, this is a rivalry that helps us learn more about Reggie's past.
And also forces the family to circle the wagons and be together instead of fighting with each other, as they often do. Yeah.
Tobin, as a documentarian, we don't really get to see his personal life and his dating life. So Narcissa comes in, all of a sudden he's forced to confront that. So now they're instruments for us to learn more about our core cast of characters, and it seems like those are the ones that are the easiest to pitch around and the ones that also stick around.
Auguste, you wrote on SNL.
I did, yeah.
I was curious if any of the skills that you developed there with the sketch writing and the pace of that, does that come into play here? Are you learning new skills on the job as you're working on a sitcom?
I mean, definitely both. I'm learning so much from being here. I remember when I was first, starting up at Dinkins, and I had a conversation with Lord Michaels about, I'm gonna get to be around Tina and Sam and Robert, and he said, not only are they the best comedy writers, they're also the best teachers you'll ever meet. And he was like, you'll go in there 20 times the writer that you start, and I can't echo that more, and I just think that's exactly what it has been. I've learned so much. And I think to the earlier question about what do constraints produce in a writer and what skills do constraints produce, I think sketch is an amazing example of that, where if you only have 4 minutes to introduce a story, introduce a character, get people on board, and then get the hell out of there, SNL was an amazing opportunity to learn how to do that. And I think also, we were all, the writers and the cast members at SNL, we all share offices. And so I was walking out of the building with these cast members at 4 o'clock in the morning, and our delirious ramblings getting to know each other. And so I think those sketches and my 3 seasons there were also based in, what's that funny thing you said to me the other day when we were in the elevator? And using that to deepen and enrich the stories that we also otherwise want to tell. So, yeah.
I also think SNL or places like it where there are these very hard deadlines. We have a show at this time.
Exactly.
Make you a very solutions-oriented person, which is a great skill, because things go wrong all the time, constantly, and you could just constantly be complaining about random things that the truck couldn't back up, and the show, and we need the van to peel out. The van can't peel out. On the set, you have to be okay, well, how do we work with other people to try to figure out how to make the illusion of it, or write an alt, or whatever it is. And I think the training, your skills really are, we're honed there to be to try to fix things.
Thank you. I was also going to say it's something that's going away, it seems, a little bit in our industry, which is getting experience on set and learning that if you're making a physical show where you have 5 people who need to cross in front of a camera and all fit in that frame, SNL does something really, really cool, which is everybody gets to be on set. And even if you're just there observing, you learn what a DP does, you learn what a first AD does, what a second AD does, and you learn the physical part of getting something on its feet. And that skill is so precious, and I'm also lucky to be in another room where we get to be on set, we're encouraged to be on set and to ask questions. And it builds that problem-solving skill, which then hopefully, when you're watching the show, you get a seamless experience. The scenes aren't super cutty and choppy because we had to start over a million times, because you're starting out with a plan and you're anticipating problems and you have people who are helping you learn how to fix them.
Yeah, and I think SNL, like other late night shows, provide something that some people have hit on, the batting average thing. Like, you have to produce so much, and so little actually goes on the air, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah, oh yeah, slaughter your darlings. You're like, okay, that's gone, And I think also, another thing about being on set is you get there and you see what works and what doesn't, and between dress and air, sometimes, you only have 30 minutes to fix whatever the problem was when the show was at dress rehearsal, and then when it's going to be live to 4.5 million people, and that means, okay, this whole page, we're just going to rip it out of the whole packet, and being not super precious and knowing where the real story is and knowing where the gold is in something helps you condense it and make it lean and strong, able to grip an audience really quickly.
As a performer, you had to have a short memory, because there was times you wouldn't even be in the show, but you have to smile and wave and say goodnight like you was in the show. And it hurt. It hurt. Plenty of nights I wasn't in the show at all. And I would sit in my dressing room and I would break down. But then I would have to wipe my face and go and smile and good night.
And was that a good skill to have for the rest of your career?
Yeah, it's good. You have to have a short memory. It's like being a cornerback in football. You get an intercept, you gotta have a short memory.
Okay, we just have a little bit of time. I'm curious, you're in the room right now for season 2. I'm curious how you guys feel you've grown as a writer's room as you approach season 2. Is there anything that you're like, oh, we have this down now, and we had to work on that in season 1, but now we're firing on all cylinders here? And then also, how are you approaching the narrative arc for season 2?
Well, I'll take the second question briefly. One of the things that you've all probably experienced, if only as consumers of the product, like these short seasons mean you're really starting day one saying, where do we want to end? Which is an interesting conversation to have, to think of, okay, this is only 10 episodes, which has its benefits of if you get it right, you're telling this story over the 10 episodes. There's part of me creatively that misses doing 22, not work-life balance wise, but that's sort of one of the ways that imposes itself.
I'm actually curious to hear if anyone else has any thoughts on the first question, because for me, I just feel like the staff is such a wonderful blend of personalities and skill sets, and we just kind of started up season 2 right where we left off. But did we learn anything?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a wonderful group of people. That's what I just like to say. Like, obviously, our wonderful leaders, Robert and Sam, but it's sort of like we really are friends with each other. We go on walks together, we trust each other, we tell each other very intimate things in the room sometimes. And so I think that, a season of doing that and being together, I think has really enhanced the writing. So we were starting from like 100 this time, you know what I'm saying? We already kind of knew each other. We knew our specific places in the show, and so it's just a delightful group of people to work with. So, yeah.
And as a cast member, I would like to speak for the rest of my cast. We really appreciate you guys. We really love you, and we really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Don't touch Tracy, Sam. He's told us that so many times.
No eye contact.
All right. I think that. Or does anyone have anything they want to add?
I was just going to say, for season 2, it's cool. We know when we're airing this season, we're going to be on the fall, and we get to write a Thanksgiving episode.
And we hope you guys enjoy season 2.
Old school network TV.
All right. I think we are good to go.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.